Hello everyone, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about Google Charts, which is the third video of a series that in the first and second one, we have covered Plotly.js and Chart.js and how we can use them to code charts in our web page, which I'll give you the link in the description if you haven't watched those ones. As same as previous ones, we have empty HTML file and empty JavaScript file. And we need to link these two together. So we use our basic HTML template. Then here, after our body tag, we're going to have our script tag to link our index.js, which is this file, into our HTML file. Then because we need to have some tags, so we use our JavaScript to put chart into that tag. Here, we're going to have simple div with the ID of chart right here. Now let's talk about our Google Charts, which is a library as same as previous ones. And we need to add that into our web page. And we can do that by two ways of downloading the JS file and put it into our folder and link that into our HTML. Or we can use our simple CDN, which is going to grab the same codes for us, but from a web server. So we put this CDN right here, which I'm going to give you this link in the description so you can use this too. Now let's jump into our JavaScript. For using Google Charts, first we need to have some lines of code which are loading the graph API and add the function to run when our API is loaded. And how we're going to use that is simply using our Google object that we have imported using our CDN. Then after this, inside of this, we're going to have our charts property, and inside of that, we have this load method, which inside of this, we need to pass two parameters. First one is going to be word of current, and the second one is going to be object with property of package. And inside of array, we pass the core chart string into this property. So here we need to have this core chart. And after this one, we're going to have again our Google object. And inside of this, again in the charts, we have set onload callback, which is a method. And inside of this, we need to pass the name of our callback function. For example, here we want to make the callback function chartFunc like this. And these two lines are necessary, and you need to have these two lines to use your Google Charts. Then after these, we need to define this function right here. So here we use function keyword, then create this function with no parameters and empty function. Then inside of our function, we need to create variable right here with the name of data, and inside of this, we need to set the data for our chart. Here, we need to use this Google.visualization, and inside of this, we have a method of array2data table. And then inside of this method, we need to have 2D array. And what 2D arrays are? Basically, it's simple array, but each item inside of this array is going to be another array. So here in the first one, we're going to define the names for our access because we're going to use the data of how many tasks that we have done on every month. So here we put the first one to be month and the second one to be the tasks. Actually, let's make this tasks done right here. And then in the next several items, we need to pass the data as a pair. So what I mean is, let's say we have 30 tasks done in the first month. So we use number 1 as our month right here. Then for using and passing the tasks that we have done in this month, we use simple comma right here and number of the tasks. And just like this, we need to have 12 other for all of our month. And let's change number a little bit. And now after these one, we need to set the options for our chart to how it look, what is the title, how we want other things, and basically the settings of our chart to be. So after this variable that we have right here, we're going to have another variable with the name of options. And this is going to be a simple object with some properties inside of it. For example, let's say here we have this title to be tasks done in a year. And then after we have set these two things, inside of our chart func right here, we're going to draw our chart into our web page. So what we can do is create variable with the name of chart, for example, and inside of that, we use our class of google.visualization, and inside of this, we're going to set which type of chart that we want. For example, in this case, let's start with our bar chart. So we use this bar chart right here, which is a method, and inside of these parentheses, we need to pass the tag and element of the HTML that we want our chart to be inside of that. As you see here in our HTML, we have this div with the ID of chart. So we use our simple HTML down, which is this document.getElement by ID, and we pass the ID of chart here into our method. And then after this one, we need to use the object of the chart, which is created by this class right here, just like this. And then we use the method of draw, which inside of this, again, we need to pass two things. First one is being our data variable that we have created right here. And the second one is the options for our chart. And now if we open our HTML file, which I'm going to use live server here, just as you see, which is extension in VS Code, that by using this, you don't need to reload and refresh your web page every time you change the change. And by any change, it's going to reload and refresh your web page for you. So for using that, we only need to right-click on this index.html and use this first option of Open with Live Server. And by using that, you see that we got this page opening right here. And we should get the result. Let's check our code again. Yes, here we need to make this package, and this should be work just like this. As you see, now we got our bar chart with this data that we have created right here, which being just like this. And if we hover on them, you can see that we have the month number and we have the number of tasks that we have done in that month. And if you want to make this bars from down to up, what you need to do here in options object that we have created, you need to add the property of orientation. And here you need to pass horizontal just right here. And pay attention that this is reversed in this type. And vertical give us horizontal bars, and horizontal give us vertical bars. Now you can see we start with our first month, which we have done 30 tasks, and going on just like this. Now let's get rid of this orientation property that we have right here and talk about our pie charts. For creating pie charts, it's very similar and as same as our bar charts, but with a little different of here, instead of using this class of bar chart right here to create our chart, here we need to use this pie chart. And by using this, you can see that we got error of pie chart should have a first column of type string. Because these one are numbers and not strings, we got that error. So we make these to the string, and now you can see that we got our pie chart right here, which here we have some scrolling things and changing these ones to see the colors. And if we hover on each one of these, we can see the result and the detailed version of them. And another thing that we can see in this pie chart is this percentage that we can see on each of them. So let's actually make some of these items to comment. And by doing this, you can see that here we got a little prettier pie chart right here. And another thing inside of our pie chart that we can do here inside of our options, we can have another property of is 3D. And if we make this true, you can see that this time we got 3D pie chart here inside of our code. Now after this one, let's talk about our donut chart. And for doing this, because you know our donut charts are some type of pie charts, and for having that here inside of our options, we're going to have another property of pie hole. And here, as same as Plotly, we need to pass number between of 0 and 1. For example, if we put this 0.4, you can see that we got this type of donut chart. But pay attention, we cannot use this pie hole to be 3D. If we use this one, this is going to be show us regular pie chart. And if we make this with this whole one, we can have this donut chart. Now let's get rid of these two items right here and come back into our bar chart. And here, let's make the orientation of our chart to be horizontal. One thing that we have here in our bar charts, which we can use, is make the name and title for our horizontal axis and vertical axis. And for doing that, again, here inside of our options, we need to have another property of h-axis. And this is going to change our horizontal axis settings for us. For example, here we can have the title property, and we can make anything that we want right here. And pay attention, this h-axis is going to be object, and inside of that, we're going to have property of title and the title that we want actually to appear. So here, let's say we want the month, and then just as same as this, we want another one for our vertical axis, which in this one, instead of month, we want to make this task. And you can see that this time we got this month and this task title here in our axis. The next type of the charts that we want to talk about in this video is our line chart. And for doing that, what we need to do again is very simple. Here, instead of creating object using class of BarChart, we're going to use this line chart right here. And by using this, you can see that we got this result right here. And if we uncomment these one that we have commented moments ago, you can see that how we got this chart right here. And again, you can have this item's special options and settings too. And that is for this legend right here. If we refresh the page, you can see that we got this tasks done, which is going to show us that this line is going to show this value for us. But if we want to make this disappear, what we need to do is add this legend property right here, actually legend. And here we can pass the word of none right here inside of a string. And now you can see that we don't have that thing anymore here inside of our chart. Now, as usual, let's create all of our charts inside of one single page so we can see all of them together. For doing that, because we're going to use the same data, we're going to make this collapse and don't change anything here. But here we need to have several items of this chart object that we have created as same as options. So the first one that we want to create, let's say we have simple bar chart here, which we're going to change the ID to chart 1 as same as the name of the chart, and we're going to have the options to the options 1. And here instead of this chart.draw, we use chart1.draw and make this options 1. Now let's come back here and create this chart 1. And if we get rid of these two ones, so we get rid of the error, you can see that we got our bar chart just like this. And now let's have our second chart right here and create our chart 2, 3. Actually, let's make all of the tags right here. I think we got 5 charts. After this one, let's say we have another one for chart 2 with options 2 right here, which we need to copy this one and have options 2. And let's, in this case, get rid of this orientation right here. So we got this type of chart here. After this one, let's say we have another one, which is going to be our third chart, and type is going to be PieChart. And this is going to be 3 here. And here again, we need to make these numbers 3. And let's actually create another options 3 here, which in this one we don't have these 2 items. And here we got our pie chart right here. Then let's create our donut chart, which is this number 4. Again, it's pie chart, and this number 4 here. And we need this to be 4 and chart 4. And here for the options, we just copy this one, make this 4, and here we add this pi hole, and let's make that 0.8. Now we got that one too here. Next, let's create our fifth one, which is going to be our 3D pie chart. Here we need to make this options 5, and here we have property of is 3D, and we make this 1. Now let's create our fifth one, just like this, and another drawing of the chart here. We got this 3D one here, and now at the last, let's create another chart, which is going to be our line chart, which is going to be number 6 right here. And we need to add another div here with the ID of chart 6. And now you can see we got all of these items right here, but not our last one because we don't have the option. Let's actually grab this one because this has those access ones too, and make the name of this to options 6. Now we got this line chart as same as other ones. Now the next thing that we're going to talk is how we can make the colors of these bars different, because we have covered that subject and that item in other libraries, but not this one. And for changing that, here inside of our data, you can see that we have created the month and tasks done. After these 2 items, we need to add another thing right here, which is going to be object, and here we're going to have this role, and here we pass this style right here. And just by having this, we can add colors into our bars. So here, let's say we want the first one to be red. So what we can do, we pass simply the word of the red in English into our column. And we need to make this to all of our items. So let's make our second one to be green, third one to be blue, fourth one to be purple, for example, fifth one to be pink, and we can make the other ones comments here so we can see the result. And you can see that this time we got these results right here that all of them has their different colors. And of course, we can have reuse those colors into these ones too. So let's actually have 6 colors right here after this pink one. Let's say we have another color of orange, and we simply copy these items and paste them here. And now you can see that we got these results. But because we have created this thing, you can see that we got these results right here. Our pie chart is not going to change because this already going to take some colors. But the thing that we have and very important and awesome about Google Charts is this line chart. you can see now here we got these colors on the lines too. And we can change them based on how we want this to be. And we can make these items dynamic. For example, if the tasks are above some specified number, is going to be green, or below some other number is going to make the color to red. So we can show that in our charts. But here, after those one, in Google Charts, we can change other properties of these bars too. So we're not limited only to changing the color of the bar. And what I mean from that, here, as I told you, one of the ways is to pass the color name here. Another way is to have the RGB value of what we want. So we can have this hex to be, for example, F00, which is going to make this again red, or we can have this RGB. So we put 255, 0 and 0, and again we're going to see this red. But another cool thing that we can use here is our CSS style declarations, which here we can make just like this, color to be the red. And by this, you can see that we can change that. For example, here, let's make the color to black. You can see that we got that. And because we can use CSS, here we can use other things too. For example, here we set the color to the black, then we put these semicolons as same as CSS, and this time let's change the opacity. So we pass this opacity right here and make this, for example, 0.5. And now you can see that we got this transparent black item right here. But as you look right here, you can see that here we got this border around of our bar, which is going to be our stroke. By using this color property of CSS, you can see that we change both of the stroke and fill color right here. But if we want to make them different from each other, we can use this fill color, which is going to be fill-color, and pass some color for this. For example, let's make this green. Then after this one, after our semicolon, we can have our stroke color. And if we want to change this to something that we can see, let's say we want to make this red. Now you can see that we got this red stroke around of our green bar. And just as same as this, we got some other values to be our fill color, to be, let's say, blue right here. And then we have fill opacity. So we change opacity only for the inside of the box and the fill part and not the stroke. And for that, of course, we're going to use this fill-opacity right here. And here, let's say we want to make this 0.8. And now you can see that we got this with this opacity. And we can change this so you can see this better. Let's make this 4. I think this is good, yes. And just as same as this, we can have the same thing for our stroke. So here, let's use our stroke color to be purple, which you can see that we got this purple color around here. Let's zoom in a little bit. Just right here, you can see that we got this purple. And then after this, we can have this stroke opacity to change that one's opacity too. So let's make this 0.5. Now you can see that we got some transparency inside of our stroke. And pay attention, we have another thing inside of our stroke part and styling, which is going to be our stroke width. So how large and how thick that we want our stroke to be. And for changing that, again, we're going to use this stroke followed by dash and this width next to it. And here we can define whatever that we want, which is going to be numbers from 1 to be default, and you can make this 2 to be larger, 3, 4, and going on. And that is going to make your default stroke width multiplied by this number. We're going to have other area charts, combo charts, our candlestick charts that we can show the price and how the price is changing, which is very useful in websites related to the Forex or cryptocurrency. Then we can have timelines with Google Charts, which is going to be very useful in productivity apps and managing apps. We can have organization charts, we can have geo charts, which all of these are going to be separate videos which coming after this video. So please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you be aware of those videos. And if this video was helpful, I'll be glad to see your like on this video. Please give a like and subscribe to catch next videos.